activities, including you can look, if you have not yet done so, the exhibition that is outside, which is about body maps of refugees in Bangkok. So these are urban refugees, in particular Christian refugees who have run away because of religious persecution from Vietnam, from Laos, and from Pakistan. But as we know, there are also many that are of different faith, or that have run away for different reasons from the country they come from. So today we will not focus so much on the flight, but we will focus more on what can be done to live, to help refugees live with the trauma and experience that they suffer and the uncertainties of their situation. In particular, we will focus on art as a tool for this healing process, because it's related to the exhibition, and the other two speakers will complement with their work also with trauma. First, one speaker from Thailand, I will introduce later one by one, and one speaker from Myanmar, which will speak not only about working initially with refugees from Myanmar in the camps, but also with internally displaced people in Myanmar itself. So, but it's all about more comprehensive way of addressing trauma. We will start with a short video, and then we have the panel of these three very expert persons. So let's start with the video first. And in the meantime, I have also very good news that the exhibition will be extended for one more week because BSCC has given us 1 week free of cost, at no cost. I think because the reaction of the people has been very positive. Many have interacted with the artwork, they have left their messages on the wall, so we will extend until 7th of April. So if you have friends and colleagues, please share the news that they can still come and look at the exhibition. So now we will hear from Gerda Liebman, who is the one who facilitated this process with refugee, and so this is the process, and then the result you can see it later on outside if you have not yet seen. So please, Gerda.
First, thank you, Leah, that we can do this here and get together and talk about something so important. How many of you have already seen the exhibit out there? Okay, thank you. So you recognize some of the paintings, right? Yes, that's how they start with the outline, and then they fill in their. This is what I asked them to do, you know, something that from your past and something from the future. What happens is when they are young, the youngest is 15, the oldest is 40 years of these exhibitors. When they are young, they don't talk much about the past. They talk about the future, that they show themselves in the future. But as they grow up and are older, the past is there. They remember. This is a part of their life that they have to deal with. I am from Switzerland. I spent many years in America. I was married and had two grown sons. Came to Thailand a little bit more than a year ago. I was exposed. I did not know anything about the refugees here. About 2 years ago, I came on vacation and I met a Pakistani refugee at our church. She invited me to her house. That's how I got to know her. This touched me so much, I wanted to make a film about them. Because I said, I did not know anything about it. So people in America don't know anything about it either. So that's what I did. I also do some documentary films, and that was the beginning. And but their need and their loneliness and their having to be hidden bothered me a lot. And so I'm very happy to have come back and started this project. I am an artist, and it's the one way that I was thinking I can help them is by expressing themselves. You know, what is inside of you? This is what I keep on asking. Put it out. Try to show me. Try to show me. I was able to take a few of them. Most of them are afraid to come here to look. But a few of them came. And I saw one man, he was skipping through the thing. That's how happy he was that his painting was exhibited. I think it's hard for us to imagine how it is to leave everything behind. Some had to leave family members, their home, their pets, their income, their livelihood, everything leave behind. Not because they choose to, because they want to do a different career, a different country, no, because they have to. They have been forced to. So it's hard for us to even understand how hard that is. And then as in the cases that I know, all of them I have applied for refugee statement. All of them are trying through the UNHCR to find a place in a third country. The process is very long, very involved. Some of them are not accepted by the UNHCR because they have no papers. then it's a little longer process. I myself have only the experience I have with NGOs is limited. I am basically concerned with the welfare of the persons that I meet. One of the things I do, I have 3 classes that I go visit. As you can see, I go to their places, even if it's just one room or a hallway, and give classes there. Now the body maps is only one of the things that I do. I do other teachings with them. They've grown to my heart. Some of them, actually 2 of the artists here are now in IDC, that's an immigration detention center, because they got caught working. Also, the father of about 3 of them is also in IDC, so I visit them, and it breaks my heart. I see a 17-year-old in there, and he really can't get out. Politically, I'm not involved. I'm more of a pastoral way that I deal with them. There are so many needs and so many ways to help them. Very simple ways, just to accept that they're here, to say that they're people, to accept that they are, we see you, we see you. One of my wishes is that more things would happen like this, where they can express themselves, be it poetry, dance, theater. I think theater would be really a way to, a healing way where they can also shout and whatever, express themselves. I think that's about as much as I want to say now. I'm going to be waiting for the ladies. Did you know these 2 ladies, they're both called Cherry, and I get to sit between 2 cherries. Yes, so I will wait till the end when we have some questions. Hi, Cherry.
Okay, Cherry. Okay. My name is Cherry, is a nickname. My Thai name is Sakusani, quite long. And I am an art therapist in Thailand. I train in UK, but I finished my degree in like art therapy training certificate in Thailand because the Canadian program open here. In Thailand, it's very difficult to find art therapists and to explore the career because people don't understand they assume that art therapist is for disabled children. Most people think that, so it takes a long time. So now we start to have our association for 1 year now, so it's, people know more about art therapy, working with trauma, can work with everybody. Okay, when Gerda approached me and said she told me about her art classes and her exhibition, that was fascinating, and I think it's I knew a lady who actually did the research on body mapping in art therapy, and I never been in a class with her, but I see a lot of images that and body in the art therapy session when we do, just to do the outline of your own body and start to project it as a self-portrait or something to draw about selves is very empower and it's a way to explore their own body. Somebody couldn't continue, you find hard to see themselves as images. So I had some a little introduction about art therapy and body mapping. In case you don't know, if you don't know about art therapy. Okay. How we shrink down? Okay. Okay, what is art therapy? And art therapy is a one of the therapeutic techniques. To use creative expression, we call it creative process or the art process. We're focusing on the process more than the outcome. So we tend to do to see how the process goes, how they react to each step, not really the outcome itself. And it's very expressive media. It can help client to communicate. In Kerda's situation, the art activities with all these refugee groups, I think art is one of the language they spoke into each other. And they found trust between each other. They found comfort to see somebody who never did art before, did a big painting like that, or involved in the art material quite a lot like that. That means the person have a trust in art material before they have a trust in art, have trust in the person who facilitated it. It's a powerful space that Gerda create between them. The relationship, the contentment, that they feel enough trust to explore themselves through the art material. And this is a lady, Christine Gomez. She did a PhD. Now she might have got a PhD already, but she did her research on body mapping. And this is I got a quote from one of the article about her and the body mapping techniques in art therapy. You can look further for that. Okay, what is body mapping? Body mapping is an art-based process. What Christine said, she was saying, it's a visual journey of the body story. So in her process of art therapy, which is made different from Gerda process to work with them, is just she have 2 days working with the body mapping. She will talk first, have a discussion about how we feel about our body, the disease we have, the condition, the anxious, the excitement, and everything we have, and have little time to do other activities about self-actualization first before do the actual draw. And the process is similar to what Gerda did. So the friend take turn to draw the outline of the body on the big paper. This is what the Christine herself work on body mapping. Okay. This is an example of the body mapping in art therapy. Okay, I like to just play Gerda's video without sound along when I'm talking, so maybe you can get the idea of the process. Okay, so in art therapy it can be very explosive. Many what's it called, directive can give to a client to explore their body into the body mapping. Just going to play Gerda's video so you see the images. Okay. The art therapy is in this setting. Art therapy is a tool for people to express, and the refugee have to from Gerda to express their feelings, their anxious, and their worries, and maybe many things. They hope, their faith, And what I found when I saw the pictures is we don't want to just what you call to read the images. We're not the fortune teller, but as many art pieces that we see, and maybe we our experience, sometimes we can tell that usually people drawing a person, they're standing on the ground. And the images of these the refugees group, some of them have feet and stand on the ground. Some of them bare feet, some of them have shoes, and some of them the leg was cut off by the ankle. And if you said they're not enough paper, but why the other can draw the feet? This means maybe they can ask for, they can find a way to fit the feet in, but they don't. For me, it's just one of my opinions that I see in my suggestion. That it could be that they feel themselves floating, they're not grounded someplace, but some people feel okay, they can ground it on the, so they have image of the feet standing on the ground. Maybe that I'm just wrong, it's just my experience. And the other thing is what I feel is some of the images, they raise their hand up, like that. And Gada said they raise their hand to God. But for me, if I don't know the background that the group made through Christian church, I will feel like it's been like surrendered, or it could be in the positive way that acceptance of the situation. The way they are in the situation that they have to live at the moment. Maybe the art activity, the art process that they've been working with Gerda help them to express, to feel they express their sorrow, they hope, their fear and everything, and they feel like they can accept their life what it is at the moment while they are waiting. So this is so that may be about what I can think about now. So any questions or any points that you like to ask? What girl does? Yeah. Thank you.
So very pleased to meet you all. I'm here to talk about and to share my experience about related with the refugees and the IDPs. So I would like to introduce myself first. So I'm Cherry Somin from Myanmar, and I'm working with the Johns Hopkins University Applied Mental Research Group based in Myanmar, Rangoon. So now I would like to share about the mental health problems is mental health problem in the refugees or the IDPs or the victims of torture. So now I'm working as a trainer who are supporting for the supervisors and counselors. They are working for the refugees and IDPs and world victims in Myanmar. So I have been trained in 2013 as a supervisor from the Johns Hopkins University Applied Mental Health Research Group, and now I'm working as a trainer. So it's been about nearly 7 years. So the Johns Hopkins implemented the component, the therapy, like the cognitive behavior therapy, kind of cognitive behavior therapy. We call that CEDAR, Common Elements Treatment Approach. So we call that CEDAR. So CEDARs can cover for the people who are suffering mental problems like trauma, depression, anxiety, and the substance abuse problem. So now we are implementing for the people who are living in Kachin, is the northern Myanmar, and the Karen state is the eastern Myanmar. So they are suffering a lot with the trauma and the torture as well. So we have many wars and fighting each other. The people are running, and they are struggling a lot, and also they are suffering about their past and the trauma. So in our experience, they have many, many symptoms like the fear, afraid, and flashback and nightmare about their, displacements or the war or something like that. So it's very bad. So we are helping and we are supporting them to be to better and to heal about their past memory, and by the CEDAR, the Common Elements Treatment Approach. So this is the, according to our experience, this is the effective method and effective treatment for the people who are suffering trauma, depression, anxiety, and the stress-related problem, and substance abuse, the alcohol addiction problem as well. And so this is the therapy, like to alleviate the mental health problem, what I mentioned before, and what's included in our therapy. So this is the call set flow for the people who are suffering mental health problem. So firstly, we give them the encouraging participation to participate in our treatment well. So we encourage them to participate in our treatment, and also, after that, we introduce our program or our treatment, what we are doing and what profit they would get from us, or how we can heal with them. And next one is the thinking in a different way, part 1, and thinking in a different way, part 2. Is kind of changing their negative thoughts. So people has like, my life is very bad, my life is awful, or I can't, I'm not able to walk, or something like that. So we are helping change their negative thoughts to be positive. So after that, they have very bad memory, like the flashback or nightmare, so about their past. So we support them. We give the therapy like the talking about difficult memories. So we let them talk about their memories. It's kind of the talking therapy, like a testimony. So after that, we reprocess their thoughts, and after that, finally we ask them what they got from us, or what they have learned from us. This is the finishing step. For example, this is the course of flow for the people who are suffering mental problem. And for one client, we are treating them 8 to 12 weeks, and we met we meet them 1 or 2 hours in a week. So in catching or the conflict in carrying a conflict area, it is difficult to see regularly, because they are struggling for their life, and they are struggling for in the war or something like that. So, but we are trying to give them more effective treatment by seeing regularly. Is it the home visit program? And this is the process of our treatment. So we train the supervisors and the counselors, so that the counselors meet with the client every week, and they give the treatment to the client. So firstly, we train the counselors and the supervisor in person. It's about 10 days trainees, in-person trainees, and then we coach and we supervise. We give the supervision for them once a week, and the Johns Hopkins US-based trainers, Johns Hopkins professors, they support us regularly by Skype or online course or something like that. So this is the apprenticeship model of the CEDAR program, CEDAR treatment. And as I mentioned before, we are working with the organization who are supporting for the refugees, IDPs, and victims of torture and victims of war. So according to our research and our experience, they have the mental problem, and they have the negative feelings like fear, afraid, disappointment, disagreement. So from that feeling, they got the problem like the substance abuse problem, especially in Karen State and in Kachin State, Northern Burma and Southern Myanmar. So they can get the drug or something like alcohol easily. So they are getting more problems like substance abuse, addiction, alcohol addiction problem, and also trauma, and especially the post trauma distress disorder. And for the client who are suffering mental problem, we are teaching and we are giving treatment with the like the pictures and the teaching aids, like how much they use the alcohol or something like that, and how are they burdened, how much they are burdened, and for their the negative thoughts or for their functioning. So some of the clients, they can't read or they cannot write. So we use the pictures or the teaching aids for that kind of client, and we draw a picture and we let them draw a picture or something like that. So and this is the kind of the teaching aids we are using for the clients. And in our experience, we have learned from our clients or from the organizations that firstly the clients and the providers, means counselors or the supervisor, report that CEDAR is acceptable as a treatment for the IDPs people or the refugees or the victims of torture. Community understand well about the mental health awareness, and they are knowing and they are noticing about themselves. We need mental health support or mental health service or something like that. And so, but we have challenges as well. We have challenges but it's kind of like it is difficult to schedule with the, between client and the counselor to meet regular. So because we are given the home visit treatment, but if they are not able to meet with us or if they are busy, it is a kind of challenge. And another one is client dropout. Clients are moving one place to another place. So when we take 8 to 12 sessions for one client, at least we take 8 sessions. So it's about 2 months. So for internally displaced person or the refugees, they have no a permanent place. So it is the kind of challenge. They are moving one place to another place, and clients that drop out. So another thing is inability to travel. So for the counselors who are working in a conflict area, so we cannot reach to the people who are living in the conflict area. But for the refugees who were sent to the refugee camp, so we are able to reach them. So it's but many people still living in the conflict area. This is the kind of challenge we are still facing for them, and we need to have for the people who are living in the conflict area. So these are the challenges that our provider, our counselors are overcoming for the challenges. The ways like going by the bicycles to the jungle, and another thing is making session explain well about what they will get the benefit from us from the counselors. Why they need to meet with the counselor regularly, so the clients understand well about the mental health needs, mental health service needs, and they want to meet with the counselor regularly. So we are overcoming that kind of will. And so these are the brief talking about our treatment and what we are giving for the refugees, IDPs, and victims of torture. So in my experience, I give the treatment for especially for the victims of torture, like former political prisoners and their family members. So our counselors and the supervisors, they are trying to reach more for the IDPs and the refugees people to get our mental health services. So please ask questions if you want to know about our program or our treatment more. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the presenters, and I will open the floor for the first 3 questions or comments, reflection. Okay, one already there. 2 more, 2. Last one. Okay, please. So please, Dewi.
Okay. Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Oh yeah. My name is Dewi. I'm volunteer in C Junction, and also I'm working at Rapidasia, and I'm working in human rights and gender. Thank you for your presentation. I want to ask for Cherry in Myanmar, from Myanmar, about the consultation or the therapy. Do you have also the group therapy? And one. And then second, about the children, how you do it differently. And also the third is about the counselor. So you said that you have a training for 10 days. But is it because so that anyone can be counselor, or you have certain things? Because, it's not easy, because you also have, maybe this counselor also that's from the conflict area as well, maybe they also have their own problem. So how they do the healing? Because before I did before the oral history, feminist oral history. So that's one of the findings that this can be a healing therapy for the women, because at that time I worked with the women who are a victim of the 1965 massacres in Indonesia. So through the oral history, because they never talked to anyone before. So this the first time they talk. So it's difficult to build the trust. So then after that they tell, and then I can see how they move when they talk to me at the front, outside, and then in the living room or in the bedroom. So that is how they openness about, and then how they trust. And then at the end, it's not only them who are doing therapy, but also in my team, including me, and also the other assistants, because they also we learn each other about how to, like after that empower, and then how they can then tell everybody to tell their story, and then set up the organization. So that is from my experience. So that's about the group, and then the children, and then that's about the counselor. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Do I need a microphone? Yes.
I noticed on your flow chart you had safety going through it. So I'm a therapist here in Bangkok who has friends who are refugees, but I don't counsel any of them. My question is, for people who are still in a vulnerable situation, could be arrested or whatever their situation is here, a colleague, like supervisor of mine, told me that you need to be very careful in delving up difficult things from the past when they're still in a difficult, vulnerable position, because they could be re-traumatized, and you could be exacerbating their issues. So I wondered what your thoughts are on that, because clearly the people you're working with are still in danger, but you're taking the risks because they do have things they need to talk about. So how do you create safety as well as you can, and do you explain that as a risk? So that is my question.
Hi, my name is Garrison, and I volunteer for this organization called Tech Refugees. And we're looking at how we can develop some solutions for long-term refugees here in Bangkok. So I just wanted to find out more about some of the coping strategies that long-term refugees adopt when they're stuck in a place like Bangkok and they can't access jobs, or they can't, kids can't go to school. Can you just talk a bit more about what they do actually to make ends meet? What are some of the things that they engage in to survive?
Okay. So I think first about Myanmar, and then we go to Thailand.
Yes. Thank you for your question. And the first question is about the type of counseling. So we are giving them the individual counseling service, and we are trying to give more group counseling, but not implemented yet. So we are giving them individually. So another thing is for kids. We have the Cedar Kid program as well. So we use different counselor for them. We used Kid Cedar counselor, Cedar Kid counselor, and Cedar adult counselors. So because they are different. For the kids, we need more teaching aids, and we need more art, but adult as well. But the kids are very gentle, and they are different. So we have the different therapy for the kids, and but the whole set is as the floor. But we add more teaching aids or more component in it. And for the people who are suffering substance abuse problem, so we add the component additional component, like realization and cognitive coping or the problem solving or something like that. We call that this is the additional component. So we added to the the main flow, what I mentioned before. So the different client, the different flow, the different treatment. And another thing is the process of being a counselor. So it is not easy to be a counselor. So the first thing is we need to attend the 10 days training, live training, in-person training, trained by Johns Hopkins professor. And after that, they have the process to be a counselor. They have to practice about 2 months. So we assigned the counselor. We assigned them to practice as a counselor. They don't allow to meet any client at a time. After that, we assign to meet 1 or 2 pilot clients. So at that time, we assess them. I mean the provider, the counselors, and if they are able to meet more clients. And so we take time to be a counselor we take time around 6 months. So this is not easy process. We train many providers. We train many counselors, around over 100. But we have just 20 counselors. It's just left. So this is the difficult process. And we have the supervision process as well. We don't allow to meet clients themselves. We have supervision and we train them and we coach them, we supervise them every week or when they come back from the session. So the Johns Hopkins professor, they also supported the needed or the updated treatment or something like that. So another thing is the safety issue. Safety is very important. So in my main flow, so safety is throughout the flow, because we assess safety questions to every client in every session. So we have the safety protocol as well, and the organization who are working for the refugees or IDPs, they have to set up the safety team. It included doctors, counselors, supervisors, and the other community member as well. So they are ready for the clients who have the suicidal risks or homicidal risks and the domestic violence as well. So we train the providers and the counselors the safety protocol, and we let them practice again and again if they have the safety risks or safety issue. So that's why we are assessing the client, the safety questions every session. Yes. Thank you.
Also to reflect on this issue of risk for the client. Therapy about the depth of the emotions.
In our therapy session, we also have we have to be our therapist, psychotherapist have to be trained as similar to psychotherapist or counselor. In the course into we have to have at least 200 to 350 practical sessions with supervisors, and it's very it have a lot of what you call rules and regulation we can do. And with art therapy in the professional session, we have the consent form for them to sign. And for the clients, if we have a contract that we will do 8 sessions or 10 sessions with them, we have the consent form for them to try them within these 8 sessions. Can we take photographs with our faces? Can we use the pictures as in or essentials and very personal? So we very taking care of the every art pieces and as well as the words and feelings that we get from the clients.
Shall I talk about the third question? Okay. About coping strategies. The refugees that I have visited, I have been in many homes. I've been invited for meals and shelter time with them. So the stories are from them. They, one of their biggest concerns is schooling for their children. The Thai government allows the children, any child, to come into the public schools, but in this case, it's been Pakistani families who are afraid to send their kids to the public schools here, afraid that they would find out where they live and such. They have organized little schools themselves. They have, there are some organizations who will come and teach. There will be, they themselves find teachers among themselves and they teach each other. I have to say they have a wonderful English. It's easy for me to teach them because I can speak with them. They have I just like how they have organized their own lives around their children. They are well taken care of, but they do not send them to the public school. And it's really just the fear. I was thinking about the other issues that are just the food. They sometimes are afraid to even go out shopping, food shopping. They kind of arrange to go out at times when there's not so many people out there, or they will look outside and see is there any policemen around. And that's when they will go out to get the food. They are not allowed to work because they are here illegal. And so yet they are trying how are they supposed to survive without money, without any means of support. So they do try to find usually menial jobs, labor that nobody really wants to do. That's about the work. Now, the school and the work is just major things, and yet it's always interwoven with the fear. You know, do I go out, or I do need food, but I do need work to earn money, but so it's difficult. It's really, really difficult. Health care. No, there's just none. They have no money to pay for it. I do have a good example of a lady, a Vietnamese lady who was pregnant. I was able to go to the hospital with her to so that she could give birth. We did go to the hospital because we wanted to have a birth certificate. And I had a donor to pay all the bills for her, so she was well taken care of financially. There was a wonderful doctor, a Thai doctor, who just took care of her without too many questions. But the problem now is that the child still doesn't have a birth certificate. The hospital would not give it. It just, lots of questions, lots of avoidance. And the baby is now 6 months old and still doesn't have a birth certificate. So that's another very difficult circumstance. Now the baby is nobody, right? Baby has no papers. I know that what is it called? Cabin fever, right? Cabin fever, always cooped up inside and not being able to go out. Very challenging. So a lot of things. That's why I go to them, right? They would not come to me, so I could do art with them. I have to go to them.
I want to invite maybe Rebecca or Alson and Ufan if you want to share something with us
Okay, sure.
from your perspective.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Asifa and I'm from Pakistan. Living here in Thailand as a refugee and also volunteering today. So I'm living here for the last 5 years. And yeah, so the question when you asked, like, what are the coping strategies and techniques refugees are using, and also how do they survive when they do not have a legal right to work and even no access to education. But still they have a lot of potential and they really want to struggle, they really want to survive. So although there are different organizations, sometimes they provide them stress management techniques and facilities, and they also, but most of them, they try to help each other, like community helping community, refugees are helping refugees. So as she said, we have some community schools, and so the one who is educated and qualified, so they can teach others in those schools. So that's free for other refugee children. And then for the healthcare, some organizations, they sometimes provide free medical facilities. So the refugees try to go and avail those opportunities if they can, and that's like once a month, not enough. So, so if you get sick during a month and that's not the time to go to that clinic, free clinic, so then you obviously have to go to nearby hospital, and then sometimes you're not able to pay. Then they have to look to the donors and the organizations for the help. And UNICEF's process is very slow, so people who are living like illegal, they have no legal status, so immigration can catch them anytime and then put them in prison for a long time. So some are living there in IDC, International Detention Center, for 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, and so that's the situation. But still, they have hope. They want to survive, and they're thinking that maybe settled in some countries, but some of their cases are being rejected by UNHCR, so they have to return to their homeland. So they think that better to die in their home, in your own home, than dying here and then without hope, without anything. So it's not easy to decide to go back, but there is no other option for them. Yeah. So any question you want to ask me, so you can ask me, then I can answer.
Thank you. Okay, let's take another round first, and then eventually. Rebecca, you want to add anything? No? Or maybe later on. Okay, so first, one, yeah, and then two more questions. One. Okay, so you are the third one. Okay, please.
Okay, so it's a bit of an addition also to what Sifan said a bit about the group, the community that really have each other, need each other, and the coping strategies as well. And the fact that there are different kinds of refugees, or not different kinds, but the status, right? The context are different. I don't know the ones who go to the counselors who are able to go to an official place and or they can go there. They are legal or you know so, but those who are illegal and those who are undocumented and who do not are afraid all the time, you know, go out. They have a different set of problems again, right? So not everyone can go to a counselor. How they go pays for them. I don't know the system yet. But there has to be some kind of system that allows a small number to go to these counselors. So my question then in my addition is the coping of it, the coping of the stress, the fear, and the insecurity, as you say, and the trauma of what has been suffered before. It's not like a mental problem, a health that needs medication, I feel. And my experience is that I work with activists, especially women activists, informal workers, with domestic workers, grassroots women. And we have, in my small women's organization that works mainly in Indonesia, have started a whole series of what we call the well-being and self-care process that we try to, put together a kind of program, and we offer to women, and it is to teach, to share ways, different practices that we can do, movement, breathing, even up to meditation, and whatever people feel like doing, a bit of yoga. But how do you cope yourself? How do you learn how to know your bodies, yourselves, your minds, your emotions, and be able to, allow your body actually to balance itself, to heal itself, and there are ways. So we also have to believe that the body can do that, right? And then it's a practice, it's a commitment to it and a practice to it. So I don't know, the question to you all then, as let's say therapists and counselors, what do you think of this process? Because then there are groups that take part in it, there are more people, we don't have to wait for counselors to be trained, which is, of course, counselors have to be trained. And I'm not saying that they're not needed. There are extreme cases where people really need therapy, when they have psychosis and things like that. But for the daily stress of all these people, and more than just, there are refugees as well as others, that is, I feel something that might offer a bit more.
So who's the second? Okay, here, one more. And then we go back.
So for me, I was just wondering, I know there's occasionally is something of a blurred line between refugees and economic migrants, and many who might end up dealing with a lot of the same issues as refugees, but maybe that's not recognized as clearly. What kind of mental health care is available to those who are considered economic or migrant workers? Is what I was interested in wondering.
Okay, so please.
Yes, I actually had two questions for you. The first one is about, the refugee experience is painful for everyone, but I wonder if some communities are doing it better than others, or they're better set up than others. I visited a Vietnamese community, and they seem to have a really well set up structure of sort of supporting each other, whereas I know in some cases other communities are not as well set up. So if you could talk a bit about that. And also you could describe in a bit more detail the donor process. You talk about donors, and how does this all actually happen? Is it just one-on-one, or is there some sort of structure? How can you just talk about that a bit more?
So let me start first from here about the self-group.
So thank you for your question and also sharing about your experience. And it's, yeah, you mean self-help groups. So the lady, you also explained about how the refugees overcome their trauma or their stress-related problems, mental health problems. So they are helping each other, and they are. So we call that is kind of peer counseling. So in our program, in our treatment, we use the lay provider. So they have the same experience, or they overcame that kind of experience. So we train them as a counselor. So they know themselves, and they know the client's feelings and client's situations as well. So it is a good strategies and for the clients. So they can talk openly about their past memories or past trauma, because the counselor, they know the counselor. And for the refugee camps and the IDPs and the victims of torture, we are doing free of charge. And in our treatment, we don't need any medication, or we don't use drug or any other big setting or something like that. So we use the community-based community-based counseling, so like peer counseling as well. So thank you.
Helping refugees is of course major, but one of the things I want to remind you is that the living quarters is so small, it's very hard to organize something in a tiny place where already, let's say, 7-8 people live. So first of all, it's crowded inside, and you're afraid to go outside. It's just very, very tough. That's all I can say. Yes, the only thing is they have each other, but the need is great. The need for financial support, the need for emotional support. It's just really huge.
Okay. First, I would like to comment on self-care. Without even the counselor is not there, how we do. Usually here in Thailand, because Thailand is not the signatory of 1951 Refugee Convention, then police can catch you anytime. So in our buildings, as she said, we are usually living in hiding, but not in that hiding, because now police has our data. Even if they raid in a building, so if they arrest 2 or 3 refugees or families, so they collect the data of all refugees living there. So they then keep it. So whenever police comes, usually the father and mother, they understand why they came, but the kids don't. So when they go, and the kids usually, because we try to lock ourselves in our small rooms, and then kids are usually just sitting with the parents inside, switching off the lights, and they are being told that don't make a noise, so don't raise your voice, because then police can catch you. And they're just sitting without making any noise. So then when police goes, then they ask the questions why police came, and then parents are not able to satisfy them. So usually they have a lot of questions. So then they just walk around, and whenever they meet us, like we're living very close to each other. So they just say, police can come anytime, or police came, and they just have small questions, like small comments. They don't ask why. They just tell, oh, police can catch you anytime. Or if they are playing and they fight, police can come and catch you. So they know very well what police is, and then slowly they are making fun of this. They are coping on their own. They are not very scared of police now, I think. So people try to talk to each other. They go to the next family's door. Even I noticed when I was back in Pakistan, we do not have very close relationship with Christians or other community members living in Pakistan. But now we have very close relationship. We help each other. We share our festivals. We share our events. We celebrate Christmas. They celebrate Eid. They send food to our home. We send food to their home. So this is like very close relationship now. Even I invite anybody to come and visit our community and see how beautifully we're living with each other. So so this is kind of healing your own wound. So if I come to you, sir, the first question was like how organized the communities are. What is the structure of?
In comparison to each other, like say for example, from different countries, they might come from Pakistan.
Okay, so I can give you an idea of first Pakistan. From Pakistan, there are mostly two communities, three, majorly two or three. So one is Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and Christian, and then Shias, less in number than Ahmadiyya and Christians. So Ahmadiyya Muslim community actually are very organized wherever they are in the world. So they have a structure. So they try to manage themselves wherever. If there are three, four people living in a building or in an area, so they will organize their structure accordingly as they do in their country. So and then they organize events, religious events and other events for the community, and everybody participate. And then if there is a need of help, they try to help each other immediately. And not only, as I said, Christian community, they also have churches. So they get together in churches on different events. And so there are different, you can say, different events to organize them, and then they seek help from each other. Maybe donors can find them in churches as well. And they help them. There's actually not a, I don't think so there's a procedure to donate them individually, but they still have some individual contacts. Some people help them, but then through organizations as well help them. So I can't say like this is the perfect way to donate. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so any last pressing question or comment, final comments?
I just wanted to share, there's an organization called Lifecraft International that they receive financial support mostly from people in the United States, and then refugee families can apply for monthly support by doing a 20-an-hour-a-week work program where they learn, serve, or teach. So they can homeschool their kids, learn English, work as a maid, get painting jobs, whatever, but they have to document 20 hours of work per week. And then they also have to get an advocate, so someone who can receive money, who has a bank account here, and can then pass that money along to them. And it's great because it's humanizing them. All of us have ideas about what we want our kids to be learning, what kind of work we can do, what kind of skills we want to learn. So it's a great way to give structure to that and then reward it with financial support. So that's an answer to your question. I know, let's see, Asylum Access and
There are different organizations. Actually, I didn't tell the name of the organizations. They're different. GRS, Asylum Access, APRON, Amnesty, different organizations, Lifecraft as well. But I said I cannot say that which one is the perfect way to donate. If you really want to donate a family, you should contact them individually and try to help them out, reach them.
I think there are also many individual donors, including Thai persons, I think. Maybe you want to know. Thai donors, individual donors. Like there are people that put quite substantial amount also to get people out of the
IDC, they working individually, they don't work with organizations because they do not really believe in organizations because they have their own system to help. So if they're helping in education, they will not help you for other things. So it's better to reach, from my side, it's better to reach the families and understand their needs. Thank you, and then happen.
So in this case is to really be the sponsor for somebody so that is able to go out of the International Detention Center and many other issues. So I think there is quite a lot of Thai support too, which often goes overlooked because the focus is more on international organization. But it's good to mention and probably to understand better also how it works. Now with this, I think there is much more to be said about how to cope indeed with this multi-layer of fear, insecurity. Once we have heard torture, whatever you have experienced in the previous life before arriving, and including the legal status. She has a UNHCR, so that gives her, of course, more freedom of movements, but many are not in the same kind of position, and that put many more limits to what can be done and how can be done. Now the point is not to say that art is better than counseling, and counseling is better than group counseling. I think there are many ways of dealing with mental health and well-being, but the important things, not only for urban refugees, to start to talk more about this kind of issue, because I think in Southeast Asia particularly, not much attention has gone to mental health as part. Much more has been done on physical health, and much less has been done. And we know that there is a scarcity of professional, and there is ways of doing things that may not be always appropriate, etc. So I think this is a very important field, including for refugees, but not only for refugees. So I am very glad that we could have this important discussion today. And please, again, go out and look at the body map. On your way out, give a donation, because this allows us to continue to have these activities. And there is some very special meal today, because Gerda is going to invite us to have some wine and cheese and bread, very Swiss, I think, very Swiss. And was supposed to be the closure of the exhibition, but now is a new beginning for the last week of the exhibition. So please enjoy also the food and continue this discussion outside. Thank you very much.